And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother?
Right, and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? Read on.
And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right, so the Most High said, Cain said this, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, you are supposed to be your brother's keeper. You're supposed to watch your brother's back. Read on.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me.
Now what does it mean when it says the voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me? That's talking about his spirit. That's talking about his spirit. I'm going to give you an example of that. Go to the book of Revelations, the 6th chapter. Revelation, the 6th chapter, and let's start from the 9th verse.
Revelations 6 and 9. And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High.
Right, the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High. Read on.
And for the testimony which they held.
And for the testimony which they held. That's talking about the disciples and the other Israelites. Read on.
And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
And that's what they're saying in the spiritual world. How long is this going to be? How long is the so-called European man or Cain going to be in his rulership? When are you going to take him down? Read on.
And white robes were given unto death.
Right, the white robes represent the robes of righteousness that the saints, the Israelites, is going to wear, which represent righteousness. Now let's go back to the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter. And what verse did you leave off at, brother?
The 10th verse. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Right, in other words, his soul, his spirit was crying out to the Most High for vengeance. Read on.
And now art thou cursed from the earth.
And now art thou what? Cursed from the earth. Read on.
Which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood.
Which have what? Which have opened thy mouth to receive thy brother's blood. Read on.
From thy hand.
Now, let's read on, brother.
The 12th verse, Genesis, the 4th chapter. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee.
Let's read the 11th verse again.
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Right, so is not the so-called white man cursed? When the white man grows his crops and so forth, he doesn't grow the crops, it doesn't come out abundantly like it's supposed to. Back in the ancient world, men used to live to be over 900 years old. The average man today, if you live to be 72 years old, or 70 years old rather, that's considered you lived a good long life. But compared to the ancient world, they used to live to be over 900 years old. So is this earth cursed? You're damn right the earth is cursed. So the Most High said, because you just killed your brother Abel, which represent us, which you are still doing today. Cain is still killing Abel today. Cain represents the so-called European man, and also represent Esau. And Abel represent the so-called Negroes and the other tribes of Indian and Negro descent in North, Central, and South America, which are also of Jacob. We have a picture right here. See, you so-called Europeans came out of a black man and a black woman, Isaac and Rebekah. So what does that show you? That who was first? Dark people were first. And you so-called Europeans came out of dark people. Esau, the firstborn son, which is also known as Cain, there he is right there, came out of Isaac and Rebekah, so-called black man, the so-called black woman. Jacob represent what? Us, the so-called Negroes and the other tribes. Now, when you was Cain, you was a dark man. Originally, you was a dark man, and as we read down, the Most High, one of the curses that the Most High put on you was he put a mark on you. That mark was a mark of leprosy. Because a lot of people say, oh, the Most High put an X on his forehead. Then he can go around and wear a patch or a scarf or something like that. Or a head wrap to hide that. There wasn't no mark like an X put on him. The mark that was put on Cain was a mark of leprosy. And we're going to read down and find out about that. Okay, brother? Let's read on. Let's read on.
The 12th verse. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right, and when the white man in his rulership, the ground is not yielding forth its strength. That's why you have droughts even now in the Midwest. Read on.
A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
That's the so-called European man. A fugitive and a what? A vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. The word fugitive is someone who escaped from justice, and that fits you Europeans. A vagabond means what? A vagabond means someone that's constantly traveling, or a bum, usually a bum, like a hobo, someone that's constantly traveling. And that's what you are anyway, you're a bum. Read on.
And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
What? He said, my punishment is what? Is greater than I can bear. Read on.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth.
Right, because they was in the area of the Garden of Eden, in that area, over there in Palestine. Read on.
And from thy face shall I be hid.
And from thy face shall I be hid. Because as we read on, we're going to go into the book of Ezekiel 28, and it's going to show you that Esau, the so-called white man, or Cain, or Edom, was that anointed cherub, that chosen cherub. See, the Most High chose the so-called white man to be on top. He chose the wicked man to be on top. Why? To show wickedness through the earth. See, this Bible is an ongoing saga of good versus evil. And good is going to win over the evil. We represent the good. Esau, the so-called white man, represent the evil. Read on.
And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Right. He shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. Read on.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Right. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall what? Slay me. And that's what the nations are doing right now. At one time, people were afraid of the white man. Now, all nations are saying what? They're saying, Yankee, go home. They're saying, get the hell out of my land. To prove that, let's go to the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk. This, I believe it's the second chapter. I'm going to get right to the point. Let's start right, the fourth verse. And you read that, brother. Habakkuk, the second chapter, rather, and start from the fourth verse. Read that, brother.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Right, that's talking about the so-called European man. His soul which is lifted up. Isn't he on top now? Does not he rule the world? You go to the book of Job 9:24. Job 9:24. And read that right quick. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces with the judges thereof. If he's not the devil or the wicked, where and who is he? Let's read that.
Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The wicked is the so-called European man. Cain, Edom, Esau. Read on.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
The judges, the true judges are the Israelites. Now he's playing the part of the judges. I'm going to hit you with something. Over there in the House of Commons, over there in England, in the Parliament, don't they wear the woolly wigs over there in England? White woolly wigs? What does that represent? That represent judgment. That represent the judges. Because who is the true judges? The Israelites.